Hello and welcome to my review of Aquaman number 58, an issue that is written by Kelly Sue DeConnick with art by Rob Simroka. And I know that a lot of people are not down with this Aquaman run. He ended up being killed by Mera after the whole drowned Earth deal, ended up waking up on an island with lost gods, sea gods, ended up coming back. And the book really hasn't felt right since then. But the addition of Aquababy Andy, I think, can bring this book back to where a lot of people might want it, where I want it, though we need to get Mera out of the coma. She went into a coma after giving birth, and that's a shame because you end up having the awesome Aquababy Andy. I need Mera there as well, but we start off with a secret message that Mera had left for Volko before she ended up giving birth and going into a coma. You see the baby bump there. And things with Volko never work out. They really don't. So I'm worried that either we're seeing Volko kind of go forward with a plan that really isn't the plan, because we don't necessarily see the plan. But then later on in the issue, we kind of see Volko start the plan. But is it the plan? Or the idea where Volko always seems to mess things up, but also things just around him go wrong. Even later, you end up having Tula and Arthur say, Volko isn't the greatest guy. He ends up not having a lot of charisma, as they say, things like that. But we'll see that as we go, because really what I wanted in this issue was to see Aquababy. I wanted to see Andy. And this issue takes place 10 months after the last issue, after the birth. So she has grown. And you see here, she's grown a lot. They even mentioned that the Zebellion in her ended up making her grow even quicker. She ends up having a lot of her mom in her, as well, as you see in a little bit, where she gets a little adventurous. But what's cool here is you do end up having Lucia, who is Jackson Hyde Aqualad's mom, who has come to live with him in Maine. So we have her there. She had enough of that Arizona nonsense, and now she's living in Maine. And everybody has joined in. Everybody in Amnesty Bay has joined in to help raise Andy, which I really, really like as well. Now, you see, though, that even though you have everybody watching, they're not watching too closely as Andy goes away. Looks like Godzilla there, ends up walking off the cliff, and you're like, oh my God, what's going on? Well, this is something that keeps happening. And Kaylee, one of the old gods, comes and grabs her and even makes a joke and a little, oh, what are we playing? The old god grab the baby game again, because you see, Andy thinks this is the greatest. She is crazy. She's adventurous. She has a lot of her mom in her. And as we go, it's awesome to see Arthur with his daughter, Andy. It's kind of sad that you don't have Mera, and the mentions of her looking like Mera, obviously the red hair, but also acting like Mera, kind of gets you in the feels that you want Mera there. Also, the fact that she is growing at an exponential rate because of the Zebellion in her, that kind of makes it like you're not going to have Mera there until Andy might be, a tween. Maybe 8, 9 years old. Mera is missing out on all this, and it's a shame because she's so cute as a button. You do go back to Atlantis and see that Mera still is in her coma. You do have her sassy doctor talking to the Mother Satea, and Mother Satea and the widowhood, all of that. If you were reading this book before Kelly Sue DeConnick jumped on during the Dan Abnett run, they are all about the rules of secession. They're all about who's ruling Atlantis, and Atlantis is suffering. They're suffering because their ruler, Mera, is in a coma. Something has to be done. That's kind of what we see with this plan of what Volko ends up doing. And it's not anything shocking, because when we get to that, I'll explain, but you have had bits and pieces of this plan leading up to it. But I do like the sassy doctor who tells Mother Satea, hike on out of here. You're not doing any good. In the meantime, you do see Arthur is getting ready in Amnesty Bay for what looked like a date, and kind of got me mad, but it ends up that every night he sneaks into Atlantis and hangs out with Mera, hoping that she will get better, maybe hear his voice. He also ends up talking to her about a bunch of things, like their daughter, you'd never guess Andy's growing so big and she's doing this and all this. And you do see at one point that Mera starts crying. She actually is crying. So she does hear what's going on, which is something that her sassy doctor and Mother Satea end up kind of arguing about if that is the case. But we kind of see that that is the case. And The doctor even says, I think that Mara is just almost like hibernating. She is trying to get herself better so she can come back. In the meantime, though, Volko shows up and says, "Hey, Arthur, can I see you a minute? Because I want to tell you about this plan that Mara had." And there you see her crying right there as you end up Arthur telling her what's going on, especially with their daughter. And it got me a little. And also, it shows you that she knows what's going on. But Volko not talking in the room with Mara, that seems a little odd as well. But also just the idea, hey, come with me. I'm going to do this plan. Mara wants me to do it. Arthur seems a little hesitant with it, but he doesn't have a choice. He cannot be the king of Atlantis. He abdicated the throne. He's not allowed to do it. There's nothing that will allow him legally to get the throne back. So they're going to have to figure out something while Mara is in a coma. In the meantime, you have Orm. And Orm, if you're not reading the book, he has made his own mutant nation of Dagon. He's trying to gather some people, and the way he seems to be doing it is going down to the ninth tribe. That's always treated like crap by the upper levels, and especially the monarchy and everybody who's highfalutin. And he's there, and it kind of does hit home here with everything that's going on with the coronavirus, because he's there in the ninth tribe saying, hey, everybody, you got this great sickness. I know they're not going to help you, and I know you're starving. You need medicine. Well, I brought it for you. Have it. Medicine, food, all yours. I'm Orm. I'm great. Start chanting my name. And you find out, though, that there is a little catch. And I've been thinking that he's been trying to get more and more people for Dagon anyway. But the whole idea is, if you want medicine, if you want food, you have to join Orm's army and, pretty much go out and do what Orm says. It's a little bit in a twist like the whole thing going on with Hickman's X-Men, how they ended up getting their nation. This is just how you're going to have Orm try to grow the nation of Dagon. Well, you do see the plan, and the plan is Volko has put things into place, as Mara did as well, even before this. But this is the big thing of him going and telling Atlantis, hey, we need somebody in charge. Well, I'm going to be your king. And you can even see with the art, and the art is great throughout this whole issue. Robinson Roca draws this very well. Well, Orm isn't very confident. And even before this, while he starts talking, he's stuttering. He doesn't know what to say. He's not a charismatic leader. He's not a confident leader, though he seems to always have plans about leading and things like that. So we'll see how this goes. But you go back to Amnesty Bay, and Tula is pretty pissed. She ends up hearing about this and says to Arthur, you out of your mind? What are you doing? Aren't you mad? Isn't this something? Because to be king, Volko does officially now have to marry Mara, while she's in a coma. And you end up having Tula like, why would you do this? Why don't you go and do something? But Arthur really can't do much. So they are going on back and forth with that. Now we end up with a cliffhanger that I'm not going to spoil that is crazy and got me so angry. So you're going to have to read the issue for that. But it does up the ante coming out with the next issue. I need the next issue now because of it. And this is one of my favorite issues of Kelly Sue DeConnick's run on Aquaman. I think it does get back to the vibe that you had with Dan Abnett, with the underwater Game of Thrones type deal. You have the political thing going, which is usually not my thing, but I don't mind this, especially with Mara in a coma. I hope she wakes up, kind of tells Volko, get out of town. I want a divorce. I'm marrying Arthur. Here we go. And all that. And have the Aquababy safe and sound. There's a little hint at what we find out in the cliffhanger. But I gave this an 8 out of 10. I think the art's great. I think that the pacing is really good. You get to see a lot of the characters we haven't seen in a while. But it's not just pure recap. We end up seeing that Aquababy Andy is growing. She's having fun. She's adventurous. She's crazy. All that, which makes you fall in love with her right away, which then ends up, coming and hitting you hard later. But I really do like all the things going on here. And like I said, I think it's one of my favorite issues since Kelly Sue DeConnick jumped on. And if you haven't been reading it, might be something there you could go and read this, and maybe this might hook you in a little more than the Island of Lost Gods and that sort of thing. So that's that. And thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, that'd be great if you would like it below, and also subscribe to the channel, and also check out the descriptions of all of the videos to find all the links to Weird Science stuff, our podcasts, our websites. We have DC and Marvel websites and podcasts that you can go and check out. And usually on the regular podcast, which me and Eric, my co-host on the regular show, will be talking about Aquaman on Sunday. The episodes always drop every night, every Sunday night. We go at length, we go a little longer about this, and yeah, you can check that out. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.